Howdy. I've been looking at the ghost assignment and the grandma solves a problem assignment. It looks like a good point to make a connection. The ghost thing is a little odd, um, and it's a little harder because eventually you're going to have to be able to find them, and they're not all going to have the same format. Um, so what you turned in as the ghost assignment, by and large, was right. It was exactly the format I asked for, but I need you to be able to see it in different places in different ways. And so the other forms are a way for me to make lecture points like the ghost in a format where you're actually trying to go and get them, to go find it. So here's the thing. There's a lot of consistency with your post on grandma. The consistent element is that you find a mental illness may be involved. Now about that, I'll just say two things. One, I don't think there's enough in the text for you to have that, and most of you said, look, it needs to be tested for, not that it absolutely was there. But then again, why wouldn't you have it tested for in any story? I mean, specifically in this story, you say that there's a mental illness involved, and my guess is with toddler and train, not going to be much mental illness there. Somebody died. And with the city cuts, of course, there won't be mental illness. Although, well, we'll make that point later, huh? So, the mental illness, I say, doesn't come from the text, that you don't have enough there. So let me say this, it comes from you. You found it. And this you finding it thing is somewhat important for me. So let me give you a different example. This only works if you live close to the school, so my apologies for everyone else. Driving along on a street called De Anza in a city called Cupertino, and I drive fairly fast. You know, I have somewhere to go. I lived in LA for 10 years. If you don't have anywhere to go and are just meandering or something, for the love of God, get a skateboard, take the bus. So I've got a person who wants to turn in front of me on De Anza, and I've got to decide whether or not to let him in or not. All I have is this. It's a maroon Camry, model year maybe 2004. The light's shining on the passengers or on the driver's window, and so I can't see anything about the person. I just have that. And so, given that it's a maroon 2004 Camry in Cupertino, I don't let him in. Now, for some of you, you may have pictured, assumed, had a momentary flash of the race of the person that was in the Camry, maybe gender, maybe age. I never said any of those things. What I'm thinking is moot. What you were thinking is your racism, your sexism, or your ageism if you brought it up. But what I'm saying is that you bring it to the example. Does the example lead you there? I don't know. Did you go there? Yeah, that's you. That's on you. And this mental illness is the same thing. It's you. You found it. Congratulations. Do you think there's many murders which are sane? I mean, if you looked at them, they'd all be kind of crazy. I wonder if you would find all of them equally insane. Why this one? Why grandma? Well, here's a guess. Grandmas, the category grandmas, are not supposed to kill grandchildren. You've got a contradiction, and you have to explain it. Only she did it. Grandma killed the grandchild, drowned him. Damn right, she did it. How do you explain the contradiction? Well, you can't do it by empirical factors, and so you go to a non-empirical force, a mental illness. This mental illness would be an odd sort of thing, right? It would have appeared in her life at just this point, for just this moment, and then gone away. There's no evidence we have that she showed any insanity before, any more than the normal grandma shows. And you say, well, yes, but we don't have all the facts. I was like, well, yeah, but in Toddler and Train, you don't have all the facts. Did you bring up mental illness there? Why bring that ghost here? Why just that ghost just here? A friend of mine did a piece on people who dually diagnose mental illness and drug addiction. And he's talking about the way that their meetings go, sort of like an AA group meeting, only they're around a table, as I recall. And this one guy gets up and he's like, "Okay, that's it." And he throws his chair down, walks out of the room. The other people in the room say, "That's his mental illness talking." Or they say at a different occasion, "That's his drug addiction talking." And the idea that there are these things inside you, drug addictions, mental illnesses, and they effectively puppet your behavior. Now, how can you tell when it's the guy talking and when it's his mental illness or his drug addiction talking? Well, we divine that from the outside, not being inside heads. You see the act, as a few of you said, the act is insane. We see the act and assume the ghost inside is really driving what's going on here. That's the really nice thing about it. You don't have to confirm it. You don't have to be a psychologist. You just see the act and you know grandmas don't kill grandkids. How do you explain this one? Well, it wasn't grandma that did it. It was the mental illness that did it. No proof, no evidence. The act itself tells you about the non-empirical force. And each of you use it. And by the way, you believe in it so much that some of you believe grandma should not go to jail, has been punished enough. Perhaps she should only go for a year. So we're talking about real differences in what your subsequent actions are going to be based upon the ghost that you invoke at a particular time. That is the power of the ghost set up in the legal system. You know, if you killed for this reason, if your thought process went like that, then that's understandable. You know, that's okay. My mom believed in something called the fat gene. She read about it in the Inquirer. It apparently explained her thighs, which I remember when she read it. She slaps her thighs like this and says, "That's it. I knew I had it." This fat gene's an amazing fellow. Walks her up off the couch during her soap operas, makes a bologna and mayonnaise sandwich, and sits there and eats it for her. That's a hell of a gene. Just ask her this. What's a gene? She'll know. I'm not saying genes don't exist. I'm saying fat genes don't come down like some mythical god and start making bologna sandwiches for you. We have these things that we can blame. We blame them when we don't want to blame ourselves and when we don't like the category of person that we're about to blame. They're extremely effective tools. They require absolutely no evidence, and people believe in them massively. Go back and look at that discussion. See how it differs from toddler in the train. See how the words used to describe the people involved are different. See what you invoke for one that you don't invoke for the other. Because it's grandma, right? Anyway, those are the ghosts. I'm going to need you to be able to find them all over the place. They'll come up again.